wonderfully delightful people. Kitty Wells and Johnny Wright. Always a pleasure. Well, I told you a little bit ago that we got part 2 of the interview with Johnny Paycheck. You probably saw part 1 here with Porter on our show last week. Roxanne visited with Johnny. Watch very closely.
December 19th, 1985. Tell me about that night.
Well, that was a real wall that I hit that I came out of good. Now let me explain that. I got into a barroom fight. I was carrying a gun, which was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Pulled the gun to scare him off, and the gun, in reality, what really happened, the gun went off. And it hit the boy in the head. Thank God it didn't. It was a superficial, whatever they call it. And anyway,
It's a flesh wound?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I went on trial, and they found me guilty of assault.
Aggravated assault?
Aggravated assault. And I threw the gun away, and so they found me guilty on tampering with evidence. Those were the 2 things. And they gave me 9.5 years in prison.
The day that they put you in, I mean, you've exhausted all appeals. This is it. You know what your fate is. You're going to have to spend time in jail.
Right.
What are you feeling inside?
Well, I'm dying a little bit every day as I get closer, because now I got to go away. I got to lose my family. I got to lose my freedom. I got my career, everything that I worked for all my life. I finally see that I've finally succeeded in throwing it away. And that was the hardest thing that I ever did, was when I walked through those gates that day in chains, you know. But it also, at the same time, once I was through those gates, and at night when I was in the first night I was there, they turned the lights out and I was in the cell, sleeping on concrete. I said, I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna, this is it. I can't do this. I can't let this take me. This can't be the way this ends, And also I realized that if I didn't, it was going to end if I kept drinking, if I kept drugs, and if I, a lot of things. I had to change my whole life. So I went to work on it. And I quit everything, one at a time. And everybody in this industry wrote letters. Everybody from Chris Christopherson, Willie, Merle, everybody. George. They all wrote letters to the governor. Right down, and finally even the guy that I had the confrontation with wrote a letter to the governor and said he thought that I had paid enough for what had happened. And it took 2 years. And at the end of the second year, Governor Celeste of Ohio pardoned me. I started then. I had no vices. And I knew it would be an uphill battle, because I had said before in my life that I was doing this, I was going to quit this and that. And I knew, and my wife and I discussed it, that this was going to be a battle, because first of all, most people was not going to believe me. And I understood that. And I started, and it's this year is 10 years. I haven't had a cigarette, a drink, or any drug of any kind. This is my 10th anniversary. And I never told anybody, I just did it. And so here we are.